Young people of Ireland, I love you.
So this year now, for example, the guys that have applied, 5 have applied currently, and the youngest is 26 and the eldest is 43. So they bring a whole range of experiences: electricians, accountants, people who've worked in farming backgrounds, people who've been working abroad in missions, volunteering, and so that you get a whole variety of backgrounds. And again, they bring all those skills and life experience with them. So that's the thing about priesthood today, is you get guys of all ages and experience.
Being a priest is class. I mean, I can't, I suppose it's sort of still in honeymoon period at the moment. I mean, it's still not even 2 years ordained. And so maybe it could be a bit, give the long haul and give me a few years. Maybe it could be, the challenge of it, and I'm sure we'll come home even closer. But being a priest is brilliant. It's even better than I imagined it would be, really. And I mean, I could not possibly think of doing anything else. I wouldn't want to do anything else. Well, I mean, I think it's amazing, and even now since being ordained, I mean, it is amazing the amount of young men and not so young who are considering, who have thought about maybe for a long time the priesthood, and there are so many. I've come across quite a few already.
I remember in my class starting out, I think there was 21 or 22 of us. There was a broad range there. There was a couple of guys who come straight from school, they were 18, and then there was, I suppose, the majority of guys were coming from a background where they already had maybe a degree behind them, and then maybe coming in like myself, maybe a couple of years work experience. And then there was a couple of guys who would have been maybe in their 40s, up to that age. So there was a lot of diversity. People come from different backgrounds. In fairness, and I think maybe that's something that has changed a little bit, like that. Guys who go to study for the priesthood bring maybe a lot more of themselves, and maybe encouraged more, to, I suppose, that we all have our human gifts and talents, to try and incorporate that, you don't just leave everything at the door.
Now, if somebody made a decision to go on for priesthood, the family usually wouldn't be very happy about it, and usually the community would be disinterested in it, or wouldn't feel they were supporting them or whatever. So it's very much the wind on the face of anybody now who's making a decision to become a priest, is really running counter to the culture of the day. In terms of the young priests, I mean, part of the difficulty we have is that we have very few vocations to the priesthood. But part of the other difficulty we have is that the vocations we're getting are like my parish priest in the 40s and the 50s at home. They're traditional. They want to wear black. They want to wear soutanas. They want to talk to people about sin. They'll only hear confessions in the confessional box. They want the Latin Mass, and they want to dress up in vestments, and they want to do all of this sort of thing, like people did 40, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. So I despair of the young priests. I'd prefer if we hadn't got them, if they're going to be like this, because people can't know what to make of them.
Well, you see, I mean, I just don't think. I don't think there may be something in there perhaps is that generational gap, as I talk about. I don't think the conversation is necessarily helping. The labels that are being branded about, conservative or liberal, rigid, or whatever word you might use. I mean, I just don't think that's a useful, a helpful conversation to have when it comes to anything in the church, because, we're not a political party. The church isn't some sort of ideology. It's not some sort of, government or organisation that sets a sort of and that changes, with a change in administration or something like that. We, in essence, the church is about communicating the gospel, bringing the sacraments to people, and that hasn't changed for centuries. That is what we're about.